Now, finally, just a kind of funny question. What do you make of Mike Pompeo's last minute resignation, his announcement that he will resign on Inauguration Day? I don't know, maybe he's trying to get into the Biden administration. Mike Pompeo has acted as a saboteur of much of Donald Trump's intentions. Going back to the peace he tried to arrange with North Korea through work with China and Russia, that was sabotaged by Bolton, but also Pompeo. The attempt to create a war between the United States and Iran, the attempt to organize a containment and encirclement of China, the continued attacks on Russia, even though it's proven that there was no Russian meddling or interference in the US election campaign. Well, Pompeo has the same line as Pelosi on this, that you have to look at Putin as an enemy. So my only regret is that Mike Pompeo wasn't kicked out with Bolton a year and a half ago, and that he's continued to poison the environment internationally and to convince people that Donald Trump is an American unilateralist who only asserts American sovereignty to have control over other nations, which is what you would get if you listen to Pompeo. Although Trump personally has repeatedly stated, including in the September 2019 UN General Assembly address he gave, that his idea of sovereignty is that it's a principle which should be shared by all nations. As we wish to be sovereign in the United States, so should people in France wish to be sovereign, in Germany wish to be sovereign, to have governments which act in the interests of the people of that nation. And if they do that, they'll look for cooperation with other nations and for dialogue to resolve conflicts that might emerge. Pompeo's different. Pompeo asserts that our sovereignty requires that we suppress the sovereign wishes of other nations and make them adhere to our policy. This is what the Obama doctrine was. This is what the PNAC, Bush, Wolfowitz, Rumsfeld, Cheney doctrine was, that the world must respond only to the interests of supposedly American interests, but what are those interests really? They're not American interests. Who's benefited from these wars? Who's benefited from the development of big tech and the social media? It's been the billionaires of Davos, the Wall Street City of London manipulators, who have dictated the policy and have reaped rewards from it, while the rest of us have been suffering. So to look at Mike Pompeo as an American leader is a joke. He's an operative of enemy forces of the City of London and has been since the beginning of his tenure in the Trump administration, first as CIA director, then as Secretary of State. So with Pompeo, I say good riddance. We wish we could have said that many, many years ago.